Hi, today we are in conversation with a leading Indian hotelier. He started his career as a management trainee in 1994 at the Oberoi Center for Learning and Development. In 2013, he became president of Oberoi Hotels, a position he held till 2018, when he struck out on his own and launched the Postcard Hotels. Not only has this upscale boutique luxury hotel chain ridden out the pandemic, it has become the gold standard in its category. We are in conversation with Kapil Chopra. So, Mr. Chopra, I want to plunge right in and ask you a question that has been intriguing me. You were helming a leading hotel group with a huge room inventory known for its big city hotels. From there, you moved completely to the other end of the spectrum with the Postcard Hotels. Why did you do that?
So you see, the Oberoi Group was a great assignment, really, yeah. And not only big city hotels, but actually the Oberoi Group is known for its amazing resorts. But I also felt, Amit, that India was changing. I'll give you a real example. Look at, we used to run a hotel called the Wildflower Hall. For the first 10 years of Wildflower Hall, it was a very challenging time. And then suddenly, domestic Indians started traveling and the occupancy just went up, and it was one of the few hotels, Amit, where the profit kind of doubled every year, and 99% occupancy was Indian. So that was one signaling to me. Means otherwise, even if you look at the portfolio, the Oberoi Villas had 92% foreign occupancy. By the time I would quit in 2018, Indian occupancy was 52 and the foreign was down to 48. So the market was maturing. And then, because I've always been very intrigued with data, means I like to look at data before I kind of validate a theory point. I looked at the data. Let's look at the numbers, really. 10 million Indian foreign tourists were coming into India. Out of this 10 million, actually in the luxury segment, it was only 1.5 million were luxury tourists who would stay at a branded 5-star hotel, really. Yeah? So we were building all these hotels for 1.5 million tourists. And now let's look at India in 2018 when we started the Postcard Hotel, or just before that. Indians did 1.8 billion trips within the country. What do I mean by a trip? I mean, even if I go from here to Shimla, even in the train, that's a trip too, from Delhi to Shimla. So that's a trip. Now, assume 99% of those trips were, meeting relatives, just traveling like that, going back to hometown, and were not in the luxury segment. Still, 18 million were luxury, correct? So 1.5 million to 18 million. Who was building for 18 million? And that was the question that I had. The third point really was, by that time I was deep into the entrepreneurial journey that I really wanted to do myself. And also the fact that I read a book by Jeff Bezos and a theory called the minimization regret theory, which is minimizing your regrets. So I didn't want to land up to being 80 if I lived till 80 and say that, I thought there was a different narrative in the luxury hospitality space that could have played out. Also, I believe that as more and more hotels opened, as more and more luxury hotel chains got into resort locations, the soul, which is human interaction, would get compromised, or would not really get compromised, but would kind of start drifting away. So we said, let's bring it back. Let's bring travel to how it used to be: romantic, personalized, filled with human interaction. And that's where we started thinking about, in my own head, about what I would do with a luxury hospitality brand. And so pretty much in the same space. The other real thing that was happening on the global landscape, Amit. Now think about it. Why do people travel to hotels? For two reasons. On business, on a conference, business, whatever, or for leisure. Yeah, you want to take a holiday. What's happening in the world today? You're time crunched. Even social media and digital means take a lot of your time. So whenever you go on a holiday, it's rest, relaxation, rejuvenation, time with the family, time with friends. But if you really look at what was happening globally, Aman Resorts was no longer being headed by Adrian Zeka. Six Senses Resorts was no longer being headed by Sonu Shivdasani. One and Only was not being headed by Mr. Saul Kresner. So suddenly the entire global resort, luxury hospitality landscape was without a founder. So I said, what a great opportunity, that the most important part of our business, of our existence, the reason to travel, had no founder-led agenda. So I said, why not kind of bring a new brand to the world? And there was no better time to do it than in 2018.
Which was the first Postcard Hotel?
So Amit, I was at, EazyDiner taught me scale, really. I was the head of the board before I came on full time to do the Postcard Hotel. And they taught me about, it's not about booking 10 restaurants, it's about booking 10,000 restaurants. Okay, it's not about having 5 slots, it's about having 500 slots to book. So I learned scale from EazyDiner. So I thought if I'm going to go and open one hotel, everybody's going to say he's going to do things like he was when he was the president of the Oberoi, that at Oberoi, we would take a lot of time to open a hotel because it was big or whatever our development philosophy there was. So my point was that it was important to say, I wanted to say I will do 50 hotels in 5 years. But why would you believe me? So we wanted to open 3 hotels on the same day. And because we were building for India first, where do Indians go for a holiday? They don't go to Jaipur, Udaipur, they go to Goa. So we decided that we will open 3 hotels on the same day in Goa. No chain had ever done that to announce the launch globally. So we decided to do that. On the 18th of December, 2018, 18-12-18, we opened 3 hotels together. The Postcard Moira, the Postcard Kulim, and the Postcard Villa. The other thing was, when people used to look at Goa, they used to say, North Goa or South Goa? And we said, no. Goa has 332 villages. Which village in Goa are you in? Yeah, so I think Goa had been destroyed by this North Goa, South Goa divide. We actually wanted to change the game. And we also thought that, okay, Goa was a great party destination, but it was also a phenomenal rock bed of design, culture, and what amazing cuisines. Where else would you have the Portuguese influence on the Catholic Christian cuisine and the Saraswat Brahmins coming together to do a hot pot of great food and innovation with so many international people staying in Goa? Even their culture, the way they approached food and the way they had a twist on Goan traditional food was amazing too. So it was everything. It was design, it was art, it was culture, it was cuisine. And the other thing, Amit, was very clear that we had in mind was that why do we do new concrete brick structures without any character? That's what everybody was doing. Why don't we go and take up the 300-year-old, 400-year-old estates and restore them to global standards? Think about how the world looks at Venice. Yeah, means is anybody building concrete new structures in Venice? Then why are we doing the same in Goa? So why we had such great history, which we were not proud of. So we said, let's change the game. Let's put history, design, architecture, culture at the forefront of what the Postcard Hotel will stand for.
So did you launch in old Portuguese villas? Did you kind of convert them?
So not actually villas, means we saw over 300 different estates, villas, whatever. So everything was very unique. So the Postcard Moira was a 214-year-old estate. The Postcard Kulim was a 350-year-old estate. The Postcard Villa was more contemporary, but why I liked it in spite of no history was that it overlooked 300 acres of reserve forests and beautiful views of the Mandovi River. So it had a lot of open spaces and a lot of character. So the only defining criteria for me was design, architecture, history, everything kind of together. So if it ticked any of those boxes, which made the hotel so unique that when you walked to the hotel, you said, oh, wow, that was a criteria.
Would you say each Postcard Hotel is different and unique?
100%. Means even if you look at the 4th hotel that we opened in Goa, the Postcard Hideaway, it's 20 rooms and 20 acres in the Netravali, very close to the Netravali forest. So you don't see any building or even any roofs till as far as the eye can see. So every single hotel has to be unique. I hate it when hotel chains come and do cookie cutter hotels. I think India is the land of architecture, design, culture, and I don't think we should be doing cookie cutter hotels in this country. And I think we should do this country proud. We should learn from our history, our heritage, our culture, and actually do hotels which make us proud and which kind of go with the flow in terms of the destination, really. So every single hotel across the board is totally unique. It's not like what you've ever seen before, from any other chain, or even from our own perspective. Like I said, the first name was supposed to be Untitled, and Picasso never copied his works.
Is Postcard Hotels restricted to a particular geography, or is the world your oyster?
So the world is our oyster, really, because the Postcard Hotel has a very clear philosophy, and the philosophy is our defining guiding light. Where do we want to take you for a holiday? So we can be in beach cities like Goa, okay, where we are closer to the sea, or even not closer to the sea, but it's a seaside city. Or we can be in the mountains. or we can be in the wildlife reserves, or we can be in historical palaces, or we can be in whiskey and wine estates. Why? Because the destination in all these cases is bigger than the hotel that we're trying to build. And hotels are a part of the story of the destination. At the Postcard Hotel, we believe in transformative travel, not just experiential, because hotel companies like to use words like, means every single company talks about experiential travel today. We talk about transformative travel which touches your soul. So when companies will say, come and watch the sunrise from the beach, we'll say, no, go alone into the ocean and watch it alone into the ocean at 4 a.m. in the morning, watch the sunrise there. So it's a different approach to how we want to look at hotels. So we'll only be in those destinations. So that makes it very difficult for me to open in Mumbai, Chennai or Delhi because they don't fit the criteria for that. And there are enough hotels who can do that. But for us, I always say we are the curators for our guest holidays. And that is why we need to be ultra selective. So at our development pace summit, we get a hotel a day. We evaluate one hotel a day. And you can see how many we've chosen. So our rejection rate is 1 out of, if you look at 30, we'll reject 29 most likely.
So I've heard some very interesting things about Postcard Hotels. Is it true that you have no check-in and check-out times?
You look at hotels today. Why should check-in be at 2 p.m. and check-out at 12? Earlier on, it should be 12 for both. Now, it's even that 2 hours has been taken away from the customer. We believe at the higher end of the market, where postcard guests come and stay, people have everything in life. They have the money, they have everything. They don't have one thing, which is time. And we also believe that guests should not be seeking permission. So from that philosophy of making your stay friction-free, I looked at TripAdvisors. I looked at thousands and thousands of TripAdvisor comments to see what are the 3 things which irritate people. 2 are very, very simple. The third one came from personal experience. The first one was people, early check-in, check-out was a real problem. Why can't you take a 7 a.m. flight and a hotel give you a 9 a.m. room? Yeah. And the second was breakfast. Why should breakfast shut at 10:30? And why should it be a buffet? Why can't it be made fresh, mostly organic from the region? I don't want smoked salmon. I really don't want, because I'm in India. I really don't want smoked salmon. If I want to eat it, I will order it. But I don't want it on my buffet. But just don't shut my breakfast window. I may want to do yoga at 9 and I may want to eat my breakfast at 11. I may have come back from a party in Goa at 4 a.m. and I want to eat my breakfast at 1. That choice should not be, determined by the hotel. That's what we thought. So that's why the postcard has no check-in, check-out time, has no breakfast time. So whenever you wake up is breakfast time. And also the fact that all our welcome drinks are actually cocktails inspired from the region. So if you are in Goa, we'll give you a very nice Feni margarita. If you are in Sri Lanka, we'll give you a passion fruit and arak cocktail. If you are in Bhutan, we'll give you a red rice beer. So whichever place you are, we will kind of inspire a drink from the region and give you a nice cocktail. The problem, even in welcome drinks in hotels, has been that 99% of the hotels are stuck on iced tea and watermelon juice. Why? Because it's sugary and cheap. So we wanted to go away from it. If you're building a luxury brand, I really need to think what the drink should be that you have, because you're experiencing our brand for the first time.
Is it true that your guests don't have to keep signing bills throughout their stay? They just have to do it once?
We try and keep it that way. Guests can choose to sign if they'd like to, but otherwise, it's a friction-free stay. Imagine you're staying at home. Do you order every single time or whatever? It's a friction-free stay. So our point is, how can we delight you more? How can we make it easier for you to enjoy your stay? So you're not worried about the technicalities and the policies. So like I always tell my team, do anything the guest says, as long as it is not immoral, unethical or illegal.
I expect your customers are delighted. What is there?
Yes, so pretty much highest ranked hotels on TripAdvisor, but I think one of the biggest recognitions came globally from 2 organizations. One is from Booking.com. We have the highest aggregate chain score of 9.6 across any global brand in the world. It's higher than a Four Seasons, a Mandarin Oriental, all Indian chains. It's higher than any other global brand operating more than 5 hotels globally. So we have the highest rating there of 9.6. I think this year will be even better. And at the World Travel Awards, even within our 3-year existence, we won Asia's leading hotel at the Postcard Hideaway in Bhutan, and also Asia's leading luxury boutique hotel brand in for the whole brand, for the Postcard Hotel brand. but I think our customers make us what they are. And really, even if you really looked at revenues across the board, so if you looked at when COVID happened, really, and hotels were shut for 3 months or so, but our revenues grew 55%. Whenever the hotels opened, our hotels ran full because we kind of created India first hotels, which nobody had actually. We didn't know that COVID is going to happen. But because we had actually created something keeping the right logic in mind and highly personalized and privacy oriented, so we had a huge line of guests who wanted to come and stay with us and actually repeat their stays with us. So from that perspective, we actually grew our revenues in the COVID era, in spite of 3 months of closure, by 55%.
So in a sense, in retrospect, it would seem that Postcard hotels were made for a post-COVID world. This is something you could not have known at that time. But what are your thoughts on that?
So with COVID, it just, the model got vindicated even more. But we never made it for COVID or for anything. We believed that the world was changing, that people were seeking human connection, that people did not, want to be bound by policies of hotels, that hotels were not evolving or innovating, that the focus on design and architecture was not happening. So whether pre-COVID or post-COVID, so we were creating a different narrative of global hospitality that not been seen before. Think about it, Amit. When you go to a duty-free, when you walk through an airport duty-free, what do you see? You see liquor all around you, correct? One of the big things on duty-free is buying alcohol, not only in India, but globally, correct? Alcohol and perfumes, yeah? Which is the number one whiskey hotel in the world? Answer is no one knows. Which is the number one wine hotel in the world? No one knows. So nobody's built it, nobody's tried to do something about it. We'll do it. So our idea is, let's do it. Let's do it in India, let's do it outside India. So the point is, people stopped asking questions, stopped innovating. Everybody just kept on building the 534th hotel in Jaipur. With all due respect to Jaipur, it's a great destination. But I didn't want to be the 535th hotel in Jaipur or the 228th hotel in Jaipur. We just didn't want to be that. We wanted to take you to Gir. People were going and seeing the lion in South Africa. And nobody had gone to Gir to see the Asiatic lion. And the sighting was guaranteed. So, we've again been vindicated. Our hotel in Gir is running record occupancies. Summer, winter, anything, means we've been surprised. The numbers we had projected in our year 4 have been met in year 1. So nobody's built a great hotel in Kabini from that perspective. No, I think there are some good hotels, but Kabini needs a great hotel too. I think Ranthambore has some very good hotels, but why not take it 10 notches higher? Means we need to answer these questions. What about the Northeast? Who's building in Northeast and building great hotels and not cookie cutter biscuit factories? Who's building those great hotels? So there are so many answers to this question. So COVID has just kind of accelerated our journey, made Postcard Hotel a well-known name in India because people had to go here, and people who were business leaders or celebrities could go nowhere else, and they kind of shared their love on social media. So everybody was like, wow, even this person's staying with you, and we said, yeah, thank you. But so that happened. So that kind of accelerated the whole journey, our concept, our philosophy. But honestly, it was created for the next 50 years, 100 years. Because when will human connection go out of the window? I think as the world gets more digital, as people start living in more nuclear families, they will seek that connection. And at the Postcard Hotel, we're building that connection.
So Mr. Chopra, just tell me, are you at Postcard Hotels able to price the rooms like you would want to, or are market forces working against you? And would you say it's a value for money proposition at whatever level it is?
So I think means the Postcard Hotel operates at a premium. Yeah, pretty much we operate, like I said, between a 70% to 100% premium, no matter which brand we are up against. Yeah, I mean, in markets like Gir, we operate at 5x the premium to brands in that market. But I think the real question is on value, and it's not value for money, but it's how the customer perceives value to be. And I look at that very carefully because we are expensive. Means when we started out, we wanted to be around the 15,000 rupee range. We are today around the 25,000 rupee range because our cost of service delivery is also higher because we are not penny pinching you or checking everything. The teas in our tea box are TWG, hand selected. Even our electric kettle is 5 times the price of an electric kettle in a super luxury hotel in India. So everything is taken care of. Our bed sheets are 500 thread count, so you sleep better. So we kind of look at everything. So our cost of operating is high, but I look at the fact that have we provided value to our guests, And the great part is on TripAdvisor, I rank as well as I rank on my service score on value too, which is absolutely amazing. And that is where the most important lesson that I have for my team is be gracious. Be gracious, don't penny pinch. And people love it when they don't have to ask anybody for an early check-in or a late checkout. It means you can check out anytime you want to. So there are more opportunities that open up. So like for example, even the airlines means, I remember Vistara did a whole emailer on us on Goa. That was the first emailer they did for any hotel company really. Because they had a night flight to Goa, 6:30 p.m. Nobody wanted to come into Goa at 9 p.m. So that flight was priced half of the 11:30 a.m. flight. But with Postcard, it's the same, no? You could come in when you want, and the next time when that flight turns around in an hour and goes back at 10 p.m., take that flight. We're not going to charge you anything extra for that. So when you do things which are innovative, kind of the whole market comes around to do that. And people, of course, see value because they're not constrained by policies.
What learnings from your time at the Oberoi Group have you been able to implement at Postcard Hotel?
So I think one of the big DNAs of the Oberoi Group is customer service obsession. Yeah, means that's a big DNA that I've seen there. And I think we've kind of continued that and decided to build on that and said, okay, how about introducing the same level of customer service obsession that we used to have at the Oberoi Group and actually build on it so that the policies don't restrict. So we've kind of picked that up. We've learned customer service obsession from Oberoi. And I think we've learned a lot from every single company that we observe because we ourselves are not perfect. So we've learned scaling from Marriott. We've, the way their guest program kind of does that, and our loyalty program is actually going to will actually again change the way people look at loyalty. We've learned warmth from Taj. You walk into a Taj hotel. I used to work for Taj so many years back. When I walk into a hotel, I still feel very warm. So there's so much to learn. We've learned innovative F&B from standalone restaurants that we see around us. Means they've done such a great job. Means today, if you eat out, it's actually better than eating out in hotels, which was not the case 10 years back. So we've learned how innovative you can be with your cuisine, how you can play around, how you can have authenticity as the biggest moat. I always say authenticity is a very big moat and service excellence is even a bigger moat. And when you get authenticity and service excellence together, then it's the biggest moat possible. Think about it. Why do luxury hotels serve croissants? When you go to France, does everybody serve parathas? No. But we're still living in that colonial mindset of being in that an international hotel should serve a croissant. I have nothing against the croissant, as long as you put 10 varieties of indigenous breads next to it. The point is nobody does that. Yeah. So in Goa, we have the pui bread. I haven't seen any other hotel really do pui there. I've stayed in mostly all the hotels there. Yeah. In Mangalore, we have the Mangalore bun in Trasi. In Sri Lanka, we have appams as breads, and in Bhutan, we have the buckwheat pancake. So or buckwheat bread. But India has 128 indigenous varieties of breads. The richest man in India doesn't wake up and has croissant. Then why do we serve croissants? Even an airline in an economy seat would serve a croissant. Means what is this kind of colonial or whatever European or this inferiority complex sometimes that we may have from the West? What is happening here? Means take it out. Our breads are so much more nutritious, tasty, better. So we don't serve croissants at the Postcard Hotel. Until unless I really do a hotel in Pondicherry, which has a nice French influence, I'll do it. But not right now. I'm very proud of the great breads that we produce. I'm very proud of the great culinary heritage we have. So Gujarat is known for great vegetarian food. But do you know they have the best quality of seafood from Verawal? It actually gets imported to Japan. So the pomfret's amazing. The tuna is amazing. You go to Junagadh, the Nawab of Junagadh is such a strong influence on the biryanis and the curries and the meats. It's absolutely amazing. The Parsis first came through Gujarat. The Parsi influence in the food is so amazing. But we are doing croissants there, and we're doing this baked beans for breakfast in most of the hotels. Means what's wrong with us as a country? I sometimes think about that. Not as a country, maybe as hoteliers. I think we need to innovate more. We need to move away from hash brown potatoes and baked beans and croissants and kind of celebrate our own cuisine.
I think that's why everyone needs to stay at a Postcard Hotel.
Of course, they should. That's why we built it.
So we're hearing a lot of buzzwords these days: responsible luxury, sustainability, eco-friendly. How does Postcard Hotel score on those fronts?
See, again, I believe it is an ethos. It is what you start off with. So you say you are eco-friendly and you're sustainable, which is serving croissants and smoked salmon. How are they how are you really sustainable? You should ideally import your butter from France if you're doing unsalted butter croissants. Yeah. So I think these are nice things to say. Like experiential is a nice thing to say. A city hotel with no soul today also says, I want to be an experiential hotel, and experiential is the way forward. Of course, these are nice things to say, but again, what is your founding philosophy? Before the government introduced the plastic ban, and on the 18th of December when we started our brand, we were very clear that we will not use plastic bottles and we would go with glass bottles in the room. We pretty much maybe the first brand to do it, and then the plastic ban came and hotels were forced to do that. But I think, but there were some other brands who were doing it before us. Like for example, ITC Hotels is actually very, really focused on what I call sustainability. So except for that, I think everybody else is not really deeply into it as deeply ITC is into it. I think Sonu Shivdasani with Soneva is deeply focused on sustainability. So these are really authentic brands on sustainability. But at the Postcard Hotel, so we started with glass bottles. We're very clear that we will source from our area around us. We're very clear that 80% of our food needs to be organic. Whatever we can source organically, we will source organically. The second thing was that even toothbrushes, we were the first guys to introduce bamboo toothbrushes. Till that time, everybody is using plastic. Even today, the dental kits are all plastic. So the whole point was a very conscious effort to take away single-use plastic. The whole point was and I think authenticity in cuisine, in the area around you, is actually the real key to sustainability too. And not just growing vegetable. Every hotel has a vegetable garden, so do we. But I don't think that's really sustainable. Working with the local communities, training the local communities, making sure they have a sustainable way of living is also sustainability. So I think you need to go beyond the word. It's a good buzzword to have, but a lot of chains are not doing it in my opinion. I think we are very focused, we are very committed to our own direction there, whether it's with renewable energy, whether it's with abolishing single-use plastic, whether it's with organic food, whether it's with the food we can grow, whether it's partnering with people around us who are growing organic food, whether it is hiring from the local community, training them to be delivering the postcard standards, whether it is working with the local communities and making sure global brands can partner with us in making sure that livelihood training and skill enhancement happens in these communities. I think that is the whole gamut of sustainability. And we are very deeply involved in the entire sector.
So what's next on the anvil for Postcard Hotel?
So like I said, we'll open a hotel every 3 months. We are going after the Northeast in a very significant way because I believe India hasn't seen the Northeast and the beauty of what we've got in the Northeast. So we need to develop that entire segment and that entire sector in a very significant way. I also believe that a lot of destinations have not been seen yet. Hampi. I recently went to Hampi. It means it's, in my opinion, it's cleaner than Rome, especially the maintenance of sites. And it's got so much history. It's stunning. It's absolutely amazing. So there is a great hotel in Hampi. There is a hotel by Orange County, which is quite nice, evolved back. But I'm sure Hampi can do 3-4 great hotels too. I think the Northeast can do 25, 30, 50 great hotels too. I believe there are so many destinations in India which do not have great hotels. We're opening a hotel in the next 2 months, 0 meters from the sea, on the Maravanthe coast, where nobody's actually opened a hotel. Incredible India puts it on every single campaign, but where is a great hotel there? Why can't you drive? Australia says drive on the Gold Coast. It's the most beautiful drive, really. I think the drive from Goa to Trasi, where we have a hotel, is going to be the most amazing 3-hour drive. On one side will be the river, on the second side is the ocean. I think it's an amazing drive. I just don't think we've explored it. I don't think we've kind of developed it. And I think we are developing India and putting India on the global hospitality map like I don't think any other brand has done in a significant way in the leisure segment. I believe the next luxury global leisure hospitality brand will come out of India. The next Aman Resorts, or better than Aman Resorts, is actually going to come out of India. And guess what, Amit? We are building it.
Mr. Chopra, thanks for talking to TravelDine.
Thank you, Amit. It was a pleasure meeting you again and talking to TravelDine. Thank you.